Our selection today will be Stand By Me.
When the storms of life are raging,
stand by me.
when the storms of life are raging,
Stand by me.
when the world is tossing me like the ship out on the sea.
Oh, thou who rulest wind and water, stand by me.
In the midst of tribulation,
Stand by me.
in the midst of tribulation,
Stand by me.
when the hosts of hell assail, and my strength begins to fail.
Oh, thou who never lost a battle, stand by me.
In the midst of faults and failures,
Stand by me.
in the midst of faults and failures,
Stand by me.
when I do the best I can, and my friends misunderstand.
Oh, thou who knowest all about me, stand by me. In the midst of persecution, stand by me. In the midst of persecution, stand by me. When my foes in battle array undertake to stop my way, oh, thou who save and silence, stand by me. When I
close of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. When we say those things every week to a holy convocation, and a lot of these things we explain as we go along the way, but it becomes a time because different people come in the word at different times and at different levels of understanding. So sometimes you have to back up and explain what certain things mean, because there's a lot of different doctrines that are being taught. So the first thing that we have to deal with is that Israel was set from the beginning to be a kingdom of priests. And it is amazing as you hear some of the things. And I mean, you're going to hear this from Israel. Like somebody delivered it to them, and then they go out telling other people that the priesthood is done away with. We had a very interesting situation happen last week. And I listened to the things that were coming out of this individual's mouth about the priesthood. And we're talking about this is something that was given unto Israel. Yes, it is a deeper part of labor, but it is also a greater honor that is given because of that thing. So to believe that those things are done away with, we have to just accept somebody else's explanation for that, because the book does not agree with that thought process. So we're going to begin today in Hebrews chapter 7. See, if we can get rid of the priesthood, then that means we can get rid of anything that demands order. We can get rid of anything that we don't like, because, hey, we can throw that away with the priesthood. Then it just comes about basically what you think, feel, and believe. In other words, you want to do the same thing you did on Sunday morning, you just want to do it on Saturday. That's exactly what that means. We want to bring the same things that we did in Christendom, and we want to bring that to the Hebrew Israelite setup. So we want to sing 15-minute songs, jump up and dance. Man, we're going to sing a song and then we're going to get off into this word. We're not going to sing no song for 30 minutes. But see, that's that Sunday morning thing. And people want to bring that Sunday morning thing. They want to bring that right over to the Sabbath. You know, they sung a wonderful song. That song over about 5 minutes. We're not going to sing this song for 45 minutes to an hour. And then we just keep going over and over. No, we're not going to do that. We got some doctrine to get off into. We got some word we got to get off into. So we're not just going to take the things that we did on Sunday morning, throw a Hebrew word over it, and then do that same thing. No, we can't do that. That's not going to work. And we have to understand what this priesthood is, and how and what things are required of the children of Israel. Hebrews chapter 7, and we're going to read verses 1 through 28.
For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Elohim, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him.
Stop. There is a priest of the Most High Elohim. He met Abraham. There is no Israel. See, we had somebody at the door saying, I need to take priests off the door. There ain't no more priests. There's a priest. And Israel ain't even set up yet. See, this is what happened when you have people of carnal understanding, and they then try to impose their carnal understanding on you. And what we're going to have to do as Israel, you're going to have to realize that them people might look like you, but them people ain't nothing like you. They might put on a few Hebrew clothes, but you're going to find that their heart ain't nowhere near where your heart is. And I made that same mistake coming in the word. I thought everybody came in the word for the same thing. Then I started looking around. I said, man, these people got some different things on their mind. So there's some different stuff happening here. Right. Some of y'all going to have to figure out the same thing. Go ahead.
Verse 2. To whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all.
Abraham paid tithes. What a law? What a law. See, there are things that are spiritual that a carnal person, a carnal believer cannot understand. So they push that carnality because they don't understand which things are spiritual. Go ahead.
First being by interpretation, king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the son of Elohim, abideth a priest continually.
Right. So he ain't never going to lose his post. He ain't never going to die. So nobody else is going to have to come behind him to be priest in that order. When we read about the sons of Elohim, we read about the angels making an appearance. How are the angels making an appearance? We read about two of them, Job 1, Job 2. And they making appearances back to back. You don't think that got anything to do with Israel, do you? This stuff was set up before us. See, the things that we are given are in representation of the things that were already in heaven. So if you're going to change something, you better know what it is you're doing. And you got to ask yourself, are they going to alter the things in heaven because of what you don't like? Read, bro.
Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of the spoils. And verily they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law.
Right. They got a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law. But this man did it before it was even given. So which one is more honorable? The one that do it because he said, I got to do this. Or the one who did it because it was already in his heart? Right. Go ahead.
That is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham, and blessed him that had the promises. And without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. And here men that die receive tithes, but there he receiveth them of whom it is witness that he lives. And as I may so say, Levi also, who received tithes, paid tithes in Abraham.
See, now you got to go to a whole nother spiritual level to even be able to receive this. And as I may say, also say, Levi also, who receives tithes, paid tithes in Abraham. Go ahead.
For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
Hold on, man. You know, see, you got to be on a whole different level right there. So he has paid tithes because he was inside his daddy when his daddy met Melchizedek. The carnal mind, see, these are the kind of things that they stone Yahshua for. Because Yahshua was going on a whole nother level. They were like, look here, man, I can't understand that level. We're going to kill you. Ain't no doubt about it. And understand, all of them were so-called priests, fringe wearers, Hebrew down from top to bottom. Understand, who was the main people saying kill him? Yeah, the Romans carried out the deed. But who offered him up? That was us. Some of them same people that we think just like us. They ain't nothing like you. Go ahead.
Verse 11. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron? For the priesthood being changed.
Right. I had somebody tell me the priesthood was done away with. And I've heard that over and over again. And we read this, the priesthood being changed. They said the priesthood done away with. What book you reading? Go ahead, bro.
No, I want to ask you, would even verse 10 show you where the seed is in the Father? As far as it,
I don't know.
as far as it said, for he was yet in the loins of his father.
Then where you see that? What you talking about? I ain't finna answer that question. That's an anatomy question.
Well, I think he's trying to say that it shows where the lineage comes from.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law. For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe.
Right. So that was the change that is not just now coming from the Levitical priesthood, the tribe of Levi, that now those priests can come from another tribe. I have folks standing at my door telling me, ain't no more priests. What book you reading? Where you getting that from? But see, this is why I say folks go to all of these gatherings and they learning some strange stuff. Because you got a lot of people in Israel, they like to not use the term priest. We got other terms that we like to use. And all you got to do is throw something at Israel and use a few Hebrew words. You got us. You got us. We like that. Oh, we like that. Oh, that sound like pomp and circumstance. Right. Ain't going to follow nothing. Ain't going to keep nothing. But we're going to see what Yahshua think about it when he show up. Go ahead.
Of which no man gave attendance at the altar. For it is evident that our Adonai sprang out of Yehuda, of which tribe Moshe spoke nothing concerning priesthood. And it was yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek there arise another priest, who was made, not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life.
So it is a better thing. Even when you deal with this law, there is the natural part of it and there's the spiritual part of it. And it just didn't start becoming spiritual. It was the people who were limited in their mindset that they could not deal with the spiritual aspect of it. Go ahead.
For he testifies, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before for the weakness and unprofitableness thereof. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw near unto Elohim. In it, and inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest. For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath by him that said unto him, the Adonai swear and will not repent, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
When you consider this in verse 20, and in so much as not without an oath, he was made priest. For those priests were made without an oath. Yeah, a lot of times when you hear like police officers and people like that, they get in trouble. You ever notice what they say? You know, you violated your what? Oath of office. See, there's an oath of office that you have been sworn to do that duty. And if you don't perform that, now you can be held in contempt because of that very thing. See, that oath of office is a contract. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 22. By so much was Yahshua made a surety of a better testament. And they truly were many priests, because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death. But this man, because he continueth ever, has an unchangeable priesthood, whereof he is able also to save them to the uttermost that came unto Elohim by him, seeing he ever lives to make intercession for them. For such an high priest became us.
Wait a minute. So he is a high priest. For such an high priest became us. I was told that brother need to take high priest off the door. Elder Barak had to say, sweetie, that say head priest. That don't say high priest. But see, when you want to see what you want to see, that's what you gonna see. What did Yahweh say? To the pure, he's going to show himself pure. But to the forward, he's going to show himself forward. So there are people at home right now with rocks in their jaws, and Yahweh put them there. Here go another one. Put that one there. Crush that one. Right. Because their heart ain't right, and he leading them right down that path. And you can't tell them they not right. But then unto the pure, Yahweh ain't showing them none of that. The people who are making an attempt to walk in purity, Yahweh not showing them that. So those people can be side by side. And you're looking at one, and they got nothing but hateful indignation, and the other one is just as calm in spirit. He trying to figure out how y'all part of the same word. Right. Your spirit gonna direct you depending on what you feed it with. Go ahead.
It's just like you said years ago, you never saw Israel in the book. Somebody took your finger and point to it.
Yep.
I guess she couldn't see head priest. She just kept seeing high priest.
She said high priest. She saw high priest. Y'all need to take high priest off that dope. He ain't. What do you see high priest, sweet? What did you see that at? Go ahead.
Verse 26. For such an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who needeth not daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself.
Right. He made the greatest sacrifice that can ever be made, and that's the sacrifice of a sinless man. Go ahead.
For the law makes men high priests, which have infirmity.
I'll read that again, bro.
For the law makes men high priests, which have infirmity.
Wait a minute, brother. So the law makes men high priests. We in the New Testament. So there's still there's still priests. There's still a priesthood. He's then telling you, wait, because of the way this thing was set up before, there would be a high priest who's got to die. But now you have a high priest that is made after a greater ordination than what this regular law has set up. Go ahead.
But the word of the oath, which was since the law, makes the Son, who is consecrated forevermore.
Right, because he is not going to die, so he's not going to lose his position. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2. And we're going to read verses 1 through 15. See, it's like that old saying goes, you know, it greatly bothers us that we might be powerful beyond our wildest dreams. That is the biggest fear. It's not a fear that we are nothing. It's a fear that we might be somebody. Because you know what happens when you might be somebody? Responsibility come with that. And because we don't want no responsibility, we scared to be somebody. Because that captive mindset says, all I got to do is just wait. And master going to bring some food over here sooner or later. That's all got to do. Just wait. Just keep on busting this shift rope. And master going to come in here sooner or later. See, that captive mindset make you say stuff like, is we thirsty? Is we thirsty? What do you mean we? If you thirsty, boss, I'm thirsty. Is we thirsty? Right. See, that's that captive mindset. It bothers some people that we might be somebody, and then you cannot keep allowing that captive mindset to rule over you. That's frightening. 1 Peter chapter 2. Start that at verse 1.
Wherefore, laying aside all malice, and all guile, and hypocrisies, and envies, and all evil speakings, as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. If so by you have tasted that the Adonai is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Elohim and precious, you also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house.
Who are you talking to?
Israel.
Cephas was the apostle to who?
Israel.
Israel. Saul was the apostle to the Gentiles. When you read the writings of Cephas, you find things like priesthood. You don't find those words in Paul's writings. Why? Because he's talking to the Gentiles. Cephas, Peter, is dealing with the Jews. You find priesthood throughout his writings. Somehow we develop selective blindness and selective amnesia when it comes down to certain things. But all the while claiming how intelligent we are. Now, if you want to see an oxymoron, now that's definitely one. Well, we claim to be intelligent, but then can't see the simplest things right in front of us. Go ahead.
You also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, and holy priesthood.
Wait a minute. So you're a kingdom of priests and a holy priesthood. Go ahead.
To offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Elohim by Yahshua the Mashiach.
Okay, not natural sacrifices. That's what the old priesthood did. Spiritual sacrifices are what you are to offer up. See? And people don't understand what spiritual sacrifices are. See, folks think that, you know, they're going to take whatever it is they did in the Christian church and just move that over into the Hebrew Israelite walk. But what if that ain't what Yahweh needs from you? If you get to pick exactly how you serve, you're not a servant. You're a boss. When I came in the word, I owned a recording studio. I went down to the television station to help them sweep the floor. I had to say, you boy, come here. I said, who are you talking to? You. He said, come on. I said, where we going? He said, we're finna go do this TV show. I said, no, not me. I said, no, I don't do TV. I don't do video. I don't do none of that. I came down here, see this? I got a broom. I'm pushing a broom. That's what I'm doing. Now, if you want to record some audio, I got a studio for you. He laughed at me. See, that was what I said I was going to do. Right. Do you think Yahweh gave a damn about what I thought I wanted to do? this is what I need you to do. And now I can't see doing nothing else. But I sat there and told my elder, and he laughed because he knew I was just as ignorant. He knew I was coming in dripping with curses, talking about what I don't do, what I don't know how to do. That don't mean nothing to Yahweh. Give him an opportunity. He'll show you how to do everything he needs for you to do. But what I was doing was going on whatever my natural ability was. Right. Carnal commandment. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, Behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believes on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word.
Right. And there's so many that stumble at the word, all you have to do is listen to that doctrine. And that doctrine just come out more and more strange day by day. They stumbling at the word. Go ahead.
Being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
Stop. There are some that are appointed unto disobedience. Remember what Yahshua said, I have not lost any, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. I lost only that what I was supposed to lose. Because when it came down to Yehudis, somebody had to betray the Messiah. Yahshua knew he was going to betray him. He said, man, if I get rid of you, who going to be a betrayer? That means I got to pick one of these good brothers to betray me then. No, you stay right there. Because I need you to betray. Somebody got to offer me up. And I don't want it to be none of these brothers, because hell, I like them. I need you to stay right there until you finish doing your job. So go ahead and finish betraying me. Matter of fact, go ahead and give me a hug and kiss before you do it. Love you too. Right. Now go ahead. Go ahead and finish setting me up. Right. Knew he was a thief. Said, hey, man, why don't you hold the money? Me? Yeah. That make you stay around. Let's put the money in your hand. Right. That sure didn't run him away. But when it was all done, I didn't lose nothing but that what I was supposed to lose. I know I was supposed to lose that. Right. Go ahead, bro.
But you know, even with that concept, that's hard for some of us to realize that somebody's got to get lost. Because he could have said, no, I don't want to lose none of them.
Right.
Look, man, why don't you try to better yourself? Well, why don't you try to see and understand what I'm saying to you? Hey, man, sometimes you just got to focus and know that, no, you know what? You're going to fall off at some point.
Brother, some falling off is what helped us stay on the path. He says, I've given men's lives for you. How do you think he gave men's lives for you? He put somebody right by you. And you think they just like you. You think they got the same zeal for Yahweh. And then you watch them fall right in that pit. Boom! And you're like, what? Yahweh, you not going to help them out? Oh, no, they was never supposed to stay. I was just doing that for you. Oh, now that messed with your mental. Your mental right there. See, that'll cook your noodle. When you realize that he did that just for your sake. So no, they never wasn't going to walk. I did that so you'll see. There's certain things that help your walk. See, the only thing, the thing about a tear tries to, and it's not necessarily what it tries to do, it's just how it's made. It tries to strangle the real fruit. So in process of time, what happened to the real fruit? It gets stronger. Nobody gets stronger without a spiritual workout. I know a lot of y'all probably got them gym membership. You know, if you just put the gym membership and put it right in front of the mirror, you know you get no damn stronger. You know you actually got to go in the gym, right? You know you actually got to work out. Right. Well, you always got a few spiritual workouts already playing for you. And some of them happen by the people who you think are just like you. They're giving you your spiritual workout. And that don't mean Yahweh getting rid of them out of your life. He like, no, stay right there. Because you ain't going to do them get stronger and stronger. And when they done, I'm going to send them on their way. But I'm going to keep you. But I'm going to use them to make you as strong as you can possibly be. Right? The earth and the fullness therein belongs to Yahweh. He can use whatever he wants to use. The devil worked for Yahweh, whether he like it or not. Why you think he's sitting there, yo, don't fear you for nothing. Give me a chance at it. He don't know he's still working for Yahweh. Yahweh like, I'm going to make the man stronger. Lucifer like, I'm going to kill him. Right. Go right ahead. Best shot, but you can't take his life. But I bet I make him curse you. I bet I do. He don't know he's working for Yahweh the whole time. So some of the people who are saying some of the most great indignation things against you, they still working for Yahweh. Don't think the devil sent everybody who says something negative to you. Some of them people Yahweh sent. That's why King David said, when the man was cursing him on the other side, the soldier said, let me go over there and stick this sword in him. Why should this dead dog curse the king? He said, leave him alone. Yahweh told him to do it. And the same one that told him to do it is the same one that's going to deal with him for doing it. People don't know Yahweh like that. See? Take a minute before you know Yahweh like that. See? Sometimes you got to step back. No. Let them go ahead and finish. Let them finish. My elder told me that. No, don't stop it yet, sir. I want to get all the people who sympathetic to it so I can get all of them the hell out of here at the same time. See, this way I got to do one by one. No, let them get into a big group. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood.
Wait a minute. So now we're going over and over. You're a kingdom of priests, a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. Yet you got us walking around talking about the priesthood has been done away with. Where you get that from? Those are the people that don't want to follow any rules and regulations. See? Those are the people that want to put a Hebrew garb on top of their Christian worship. You lift up that skirt and there ain't nothing but Christendom right up under there. Look at that. There ain't nothing but a cross. Look at that. Look at that. There's a cross dangling under there. Right. Go ahead, brother.
A peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of Elohim, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul.
Fleshly lusts war against the soul. Go ahead.
Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles, that, whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they shall behold, glorify Elohim in the day of visitation.
That means you're not going to receive the adequate acceptance until the end. But see, because some people want to be accepted now, they make so many concessions in the word so that they can get acceptance from other individuals. And they're going to pay for it dearly. Go ahead.
Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Adonai's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors, as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers, and for the praise of them that do well.
Right. Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man. You do as much as you can not to break the law in the land of your captivity. But we know that their law and Yahweh's law does not coincide. So in some of those things, to submit yourself to every ordinance, that means you got to go home and do some things that you just can't do out in the street. Because at the end of the day, Yahweh's law reigns supreme over the children of Israel, not man's law. Go ahead.
For so is the will of Elohim, that with well-doing you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. All
right. Now, brother, read this definition. Now, I know a couple of y'all had went to a gathering that was had, and the two sisters that showed up at the door. And this is the issue that I tell people about, you know, those gatherings that are without rules. It let a lot of people believe that there are no rules and regulations. So we had two sisters show up, no head covering, tight pants on, don't know what their, you know, clean or unclean state was, showed up at the door saying that basically, y'all gonna let me in. Said, well, look, sister, we got some skirts. We got some head wrap. I don't want to wear no skirt. And I don't want nothing on my head. Y'all gonna let me in. So we had the two big bad wolves out there saying they were gonna huff and puff and they were gonna blow the whole house down if we didn't let them in to come up in. Now, see, this is what I try to tell y'all. Them people ain't nothing like y'all. Consider this. How many of y'all ever went somewhere and tried to make them people change their rules at the door to let you in? Ain't none of y'all ever done that. You got to be careful thinking that you and these people are on the same mindset. Let me tell you how you believe you're on the mindset with people, that y'all on the same mind level. When y'all don't discuss anything of substance. You ever notice when you just talking crap, it seemed like somebody cool? Wait until that conversation get a little deeper.
Wait a minute. You do what? You don't eat pork? Not even the smell of the garbage?
All of a sudden, there's a wedge in between y'all. Right. As long as you talk about something stupid, if you just sing a song for 35, 40 minutes, y'all gonna seem like y'all cool and y'all don't want to chord. Let that damn song stop playing. Start talking about something in substance. And it's gonna divide y'all right down the middle. Right? Substance. But if they can keep your mind on BS, on a bunch of natural stuff, let's go do this natural thing. Let's go do this natural thing. It look like y'all more connected than you are. Start talking about something that's got a little bit more substance. You'll see. The word took away more friends than anything else I've ever done in my life. When I was doing evil, I had way more friends. I had friends who was like, look, man, when you get through evil, can you come, doing evil, could you come by my house? I said, but you know I'm finna go do some evil. I know, and I like it. Right. Right. I got much respect doing it. Start doing this word. Hey, my evil friend said, look, man, we ain't gonna be able to hang out, man. I feel bad about myself when you come around. Right. It wasn't about me. It was about them feeling bad about what they continue to do because it threw them off. How was you Captain Evil, and now you not doing it? So now that throws them off. How you stop? Right. They can't figure out how you stop. So now it's messing with their mental. Why I still like these things? Why I still want to do these things? How you stop? Right. This really ain't about them per se not liking you. It's about them not being able to do what they see you can do. And misery love company. Don't nobody want to be. How many people you know skip school by themselves? First thing they did, they called some, hey man, you want to hang out? Hey, you want to skip school, bro? Just skip school. Yeah, but I don't want to skip school by myself. Right. Right. And them the first one to snitch on you. Miss Johnson, Kish was there with me. Did you, yeah, Kish was down? Yeah. You K-I-S-H. Look at this snitch. Ain't nobody even asking him about Kish. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Moray, H4175.
First thing came out of my mouth. Well, I went to Moray, and Israel loves some Hebrew words. Read.
Moray from H3384, an archer, also teacher or teaching.
Which is what Moray is, a teacher. So, Israel, you give them a few Hebrew words, they think they doing something. And I have to remind people, we knew Hebrew when we got kicked out of the land. We were wearing fringes when we got kicked out of the land. None of that saved us. Jake is thick in the skull, man. Read the next one. So y'all can have some Hebrew words for what we truly are. Go ahead.
Kohen. From H3548. Active participle of H3547. Literally one officiating, a priest, also by courtesy, an acting priest, although a layman, chief ruler.
So it's power in Kohen. See, this is what a priest is. So when they throw their moray around them, you throw your Kohen back. When they say, well, I listen to moray, well, I talk with Kohen. Run, go, tell that. Go ahead, man.
The next one.
Go to the next one. I like the next one a lot.
Exon, priest, prince, principal, officer.
Uh-huh. Go to the next one.
Kahuna.
Kahuna. Come on now. They say, man, you the big kahuna. Keep reading.
Kahuna from age 35-50. Priesthood.
Priesthood.
Priest office.
So the person that had the big power was the big kahuna. Oh, there's somebody in the priesthood. Oh, okay. Right. So when they throw around their morays, you got a little Kohen and kahuna to throw around too. All right? Since they like Hebrew words. They think that make them something if they can say it in Hebrew. If I can say righteous in Hebrew, that make me righteous. Who the hell told you that? Go ahead.
You know, the interesting word about that, the whole thing is when you hear it, we always look to that island over there.
Exactly.
And Pacific Islanders.
That's why I couldn't wait to get this one. I was like, kahuna. I just kept going just for the sake. See, that's why you think you kept going. See? Now the spirit like, no, keep going. No, you're going to like the next one. Go down about 3 or 4 more. What in the world is this? Right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 12.
They're going to become a whole tribe now, aren't they?
Yeah. Next week we're going to find out the Hawaiians is some other tribe. They're going to add them to the one of them strange group, going to add them to their chart.
See, they always been using kahuna.
See?
See?
They said big kahuna. They were saying, yeah, I'm the big priest. Right.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 1. At that time, Yahshua went on the Shabbat day through the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But when the Pharisees saw it...
Pharisees, these are the ones that he said, you enlarge the borders of your garment. So they make sure they got the fringes, they make sure they got all of the things that speak of power, but they don't do anything righteously. He called them straight hypocrites. Go ahead.
They said unto him, Behold, your disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Shabbat day.
Right. And the first thing the fringe wearers do is jump up in your face talking about some law you didn't keep. And they doing the same thing to Yahshua. They do the same thing today. Fringe wearer run up on you, and I have to say, I am not against wearing fringes. Matter of fact, I wore mine today because I knew I was going to cut up the fringe wearers, so I made sure I had mine on today. And I got all color fringes. But when people want to try to say that you got to wear them all the time for every particular thing, and we're going to get into that. And we got to get into that because of it shows the carnality of Israel. It explains how we care more about natural things than we do about spiritual things. And that same stuff has been attacking us since day one. Go ahead.
But he said unto them, Have you not read what Dawid did when he was an hungered, and they that were with him? How he entered into the house of Elohim, and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priest?
Now, consider this. Now, remember the part what we read. It says Levi was in the loins of his father when he paid tithes. So, the Messiah is called the son of Dawid. It was the seed of Dawid that was used to bring forth Yahshua. Then you take into consideration Dawid eating the showbread, which is only lawful for the priest, and his son is going to be high priest. Right. But see, is it fringe? You didn't give me that. Just so you know. Because there's a lot of people that tell you the fringe is what does it for you. Wait, we're going to get there. Go ahead.
Or have you not read in the law how that on the Shabbat days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless?
The priests profane the Sabbath because the priests work. It is their job to work. The priests work and get paid on the Sabbath. They collect tithes. So they do all the things that the people are told not to do. He's also telling them, don't you understand that we priests? Somehow, that doesn't come across right at some of the gatherings. That's why I got somebody yelling out "More" at my front door, telling me I need to take priests off the door, when Yahshua is explaining to them, don't you understand that the priests work, that they profane the Sabbath and are held blameless? We working. That's what priests do on the Sabbath. So somehow that spiritual understanding didn't get there. That Yahshua the high priest, we already read that, right? What do you think the brothers who work under him are? Under priests. When it talked about Moshe said, there's one that comes after me who's like unto me. Hear you him. That next one that was like unto Moshe, who dealt with Yahweh face to face, was Yahshua. What's the confusion? Where does that come in at? It come in when you want to do and let your feelings just put a dress on top of that Christian doctrine and just bring it right on to the Sabbath with you. You want to glory that thing right on out. Let's just holler glory. Let's just do all of these things. Let's song and dance. There's some people that probably get upset that ain't nobody caught the Holy Ghost and jumped over all these chairs. Because that's what they used to. And they want to know. So ain't nobody going to catch the Holy Ghost and jump? Nothing? Ain't nobody going to dance? Right, because they got that thing is there in their head. And that's what they want to see. So eventually, if that don't get out of your heart, then you start having itching ears looking for that type thing until they find what they're looking for. Go ahead.
But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if you had known what this means, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless. For the Son of Man is Adonai, even of the Shabbat day.
Even of the Shabbat day. Let's go to John chapter 7. See, this is what, when you have, the gatherings and the people never heard, there's some people that never heard any thing about regulations or any ordinances, they then become accustomed to that. So what happened? They came here and said, oh, we're not going to abide by any of that, but y'all still going to let us in. No, we ain't coming in here. No, that ain't going to work. But see, there's sometimes that people think they're doing people a favor by letting them do things wrong. That's just like continually letting somebody do something, and every time they do something, you help them. You're not helping them. You're then becoming a crutch for them, because they ain't never going to stand up on their 2 feet. Because you keep saying, all right, well, I'm going to help them. Right, then you help them the last 4 times. Okay, what happened different then? Absolutely nothing. Right. Where we at? John chapter 7. Let's read verses 19 through 24.
Did not Moshe give you the law, and yet none of you keepeth the law? Why go you yet about to kill me?
Wait a minute. This Yahshua. Moshe gave you the law, and none of y'all keep the law. Go ahead.
The people answered and said, you have a devil. Who goes about to kill you? Yahshua answered and said unto them, I have done one work, and you all marvel. Moshe therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moshe, but of the fathers. And you on the Shabbat day circumcise a man. If a man on the Shabbat day receives circumcision, that the law of Moshe should not be broken, are you angry at me, because I have made a man every whit whole on the Shabbat day? Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment.
Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. There was a situation where the priest was supposed to eat the sacrifices, and Moshe found out that they didn't eat it. And he went at them, angry. why didn't y'all eat these sacrifices? This was supposed to be done. They said, uncleanness. You know, we ended up in an unclean situation. And if we had ate it, would it have been accepted? So on one, understand the spiritual part of it. There's one part where Moshe is pushing them that they didn't keep the law. When their reply was heard, they said, we became unclean. If we would have done it, would it have been accepted? Moshe said, oh, okay. You're right. But do you just look at the one side and say, you didn't do this because of the law? Once he heard their reply, he said, you're right. And went on about his business. But see, there's some people that can't hear the both sides of the law. See, they push that one side of the law and they really don't understand. So you got people either far left, they trying to do everything in the law, or you got the people who far right, who don't want to do nothing. And ain't that one of them going to work. Both of them going to get you cut off. Both of them going to get you cut off. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19.
You know, even with that, with them speaking up to Moshe, they would have to have an understanding of the law. Not only that, be firm enough in the word to be able to stand up to Moshe, because you got some people that are just going to be yes men.
Right.
And just go ahead just because.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus chapter 19 and verse 1.
And we're going to read verses 1 through 15. Go ahead.
In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Yisrael camped before the mount. And Moshe went up unto Elohim, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
If you will obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be a peculiar treasure. Go ahead.
For all the earth is mine, and you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
Wait a minute. From the beginning, Israel was said to be a kingdom of priests, not a tribe of priests. Understand, he had only given the priesthood to one tribe. That was Levi. So from the beginning, he's already talking about a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. We think that showed up in the New Testament. No, it didn't. From the beginning, the priesthood was already going to be bigger than Levi. Why? The whole rest of the world got to hear this word now. Levi is the priest to Israel. Everybody else got to be the priest to the rest of the world. Right. Read, man.
These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, All that Yahweh hath spoken we will do. And Moshe returned the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Lo, I come unto you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and believe you forever.
Right, because Israel need to see a sign. See, I'm going to come to you in this thick cloud so that these people will believe you. Because what the first thing he said? If I tell them I have spoken, you know, saying to Elohim, that's why he said, what's your name? Man, these people ain't going to believe me. Because Jake all the time talking about, God told me. God said, I heard God. It was a soft, still voice. Right. Right. Everybody claim God talked to them. Right. Go ahead, bro.
And Moshe told the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow.
Hold on. So before they can meet up with Yahweh, they have to sanctify themselves a certain way. I got people showing up at the door with tight jeans on, hair out, saying we ain't finna do nothing. We're supposed to come as we are. You are gonna get cut off if you don't learn what thus says Yahweh. See, that whole come as you are thing was come as you are in your spirit, not thinking that you gonna fix yourself first and then come to church. That was what come as you are was supposed to be. That didn't turn into, why don't you put on your shake dancing outfit, put on your cat suit, put on your high heels, and then when you walk down here, I'm gonna let these dogs bark at you. That ain't what they were talking about. But somehow that done turned into, we gonna wear whatever we wanna wear. But before, from the get-go, before you came unto Yahweh, sanctify yourself. You don't just come any old kind of way. Man, we got jobs that we give a better honor and respect to. You at least take a bath before you get ready to go to work. They got a uniform, you put the uniform on. Why? Because we're getting a carnal check. And we don't go in there arguing with them people.
Excuse me, Mr. Bob. I don't like this polo shirt. You got a button down or something like that?
I don't want to wear these pants. I want to wear shorts. I got nice legs, Mr. Bob. We don't go in there and mess with them folk. Them folk tell us what the dress code is. They tell us what the pay is. And we ready to get that money. We go in there and ask some people, excuse me, you got an extra outfit just in case I'm not doing my laundry right? I make sure I still come in here looking extra dapper for you, Mr. Bob. Right. We don't ask them folk no question. Come down to this righteousness, we got all kind of problems. We got a problem with this, got a problem with that. Right. Shows where our heart at. But we'll change the dress code in the drop of a dime for a job, like it ain't nothing. Them same folk who got a problem, go see where they at about 11:30 on a Tuesday morning. And they dress exactly how they supposed to be dressed for that job. Right. Hypocrite. Go ahead, bro.
And let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And you shall set bonds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, that you go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through.
Right. So you don't just touch holy things, because when you touch it, you change it. So you just can't alter holy things based on what you think, feel, and believe. Go ahead.
Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moshe went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day, come not at your wives.
Right. And we have these things, these appearances that we have to make, and we abide by those things, being spiritually separated and sanctified before we make our appearance before Yahweh. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22. It is amazing when you really look at, how popular certain things are. One of the brothers I was, brother who I used to let stay with me, and sooner or later he ended up calling himself a Moray as well. And he spoke Hebrew. You start having all of these things. We are told that we were going to be a kingdom of priests. Where all these damn teachers come from? What a priest at? My elder told me a long time ago, he said, Sal, I teach priests. You remember that? At times, I didn't understand what he was saying, but I just sat right there. I understand it later on. Now, all of a sudden, Israel don't know that we're supposed to be a kingdom of priests. But I guess if you're a teacher, you can just jump in and out. You ain't really got to follow the rules and regulations. That's what you think. You keep on thinking. Keep letting your pocket God fool you. Go ahead, bro.
You know, brother, the problem also with this is that, like you were saying earlier, is everybody coming up for a different reason, and everybody's not the same as you are. What we've got is these people coming out of Christianity thinking that Hebrew Israelite is some newfound religion.
Mm-hmm.
This is a culture. We're relearning our culture and our way of life. But they're coming and treating it as it's the newfound religion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all the problems are coming from.
Well, you know, it's one of those things. It's less change if you can just turn it into really what you did before. If you can just transfer all of that over, then you ain't really got to alter nothing. It really doesn't make you push for any higher ground. You can stay on the same low spiritual ground that you was on in Christendom, but now you got a kufi on. So now I eat pork with my kufi. See? Yeah. See? And I don't let none of that barbecue sauce follow my Hebrew God. No, I don't. Mm-mm. I'm holy. Right. Go ahead, bro. Matthew chapter 22, and let's read verse 1 through 14.
And Yahshua answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come.
Right. Our people stood before, in the Old Testament, at a wedding ceremony and didn't know it. They stood right there at the mountain and said, all you have said, we will do. I do. We would get married and didn't know it. And we agreed to all the vows of that marriage covenant. So here Israel is again. Don't understand that they have been invited to a wedding. But we still want to come in our basketball shorts. Yeah, man, I heard you getting married today. What the hell you gonna do with that ball? Why you here, man? You ain't. What did you think you were coming? Go ahead.
Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings
Look
are
at
killed.
all the preparation that goes into this thing. And you just want to come any old kind of way. Sister stood at the door. Oh, you gonna turn me away? God wouldn't turn me away. But you better, if you hurry now, you can go and meet up with God. Read, man.
And all things are ready, come on to the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his farm,
Right.
another to his merchandise.
They did their own business. Whatever it was they wanted to do on the Sabbath, and then put it on to Yahweh. Yeah, we serving Yahweh. No, you serving yourself of Yahweh. That's something totally different. Doing what they want to do on the Sabbath, and then say, oh, we kept Yahweh's Sabbath day. No, the hell you didn't. You did what you wanted to do on Yahweh's Sabbath day. Ain't got no time to do Yahweh's bidding. No, I gotta go do such and such. Right, you got to go serve yourself. Why you say Yahweh's name? Right. But you can't tell them no different. Because they moray done told them that's okay. We all came from somewhere. The thing is, are you going to stay there? That's the question. Ain't where you came from. We all came from somewhere. We all was doing something out of what was written. But what you going to do now? Go ahead.
And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them.
Right. That's what they do. They slay you with their mouth. They have absolutely nothing but indignation to say about you as you are walking the way you're supposed to walk. Go ahead.
But when the king heard thereof, he was angry, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burnt up their city.
Murderers. It says, if you hate your brother without a cause, you have murdered him already. There's some people walking around with fringes, feeling like they walking in the law, and they done murdered 20, 30 people. Right. And they're going to be so surprised when judgment comes. Go ahead, bro.
Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
They ain't worthy to be at the wedding. Go ahead.
Go you therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests.
Anybody you can find, invite them to the wedding feast. Invite them to this marriage. Go ahead.
And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment.
Wait a minute now. So now the king come in and see somebody that's not attired correctly. Now he got a problem. Go ahead.
And he saith unto him, Friend, how cameth you in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless.
How you come to a wedding without a wedding garment? But I got somebody at the door say, you gonna let me in here with these tight pants and my hair. Well, we got a dress in there we can let you put on the skirt. I don't want to wear that. We got a head covering you can tie. I don't want God gave me this. And you think them people just like you. Go ahead.
Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Right, because he came to a wedding feast not correctly clothed, and he was dealt with. But yet we got people saying, you need to accept me however I showed up. Did Yahshua do that? Well, Yahshua accept you just because you show up? Right. See, there was a thing that Brother Kish read in Bible study. And by the way, you know, I think him and Big Benel, the Jolly Black Giant, I think they did wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I was sitting in the parking lot. I wouldn't even come in. I was sitting there listening to them. I think I may play hooky more often. So those brothers, hey man, my elder did it to me. He said, yeah, Soccer, we gonna do a show. I said, all right. Yes. Then I got down there and it was me gonna do a show. Wait a minute. It's supposed to be 2 chairs here. Everybody know except me. Say, hey, anybody seen the old man? I think, man, what everybody laughing for? Hey man, what time the old man gonna get here? Hey man, anybody seen the old man? Count down 3 minutes. Then the phone ring. Oh, Elder, where you at? Then he started playing these parable games with me. Oh, I'm there. You ain't there, man, because I'm here. And if you was there, you'd be here, and I'd be looking at you. He said, brother, I'm there. You and me? Man, I ain't got time. We go on in about 127 seconds. They ain't got a chair for you out here. He said, brother, I'm there. I'm there because you there. So, man, look, I don't want to hear no damn parables, man. Look, I'm about to go on television, and I didn't sign up for this job, man. I got a recording studio. Don't nobody have to see you for that. He didn't care, Yahweh, didn't he? So, hey, if I set him up, I was taught bad. I'm going to say. But the brother mentioned something. He was reading in Proverbs 7 and 10 when it's talk about there was a man, he met a woman with the attire of a harlot. So that means there's a certain, that people then look at you based on the clothing that you have. Now, Elder Barak was trying to explain to that to the woman at the door about that. So, wait a minute. If there is an attire of a harlot, that means that whore's got a dress code. What? I'm just saying, because they didn't ask them, they didn't, you know, it's attire of a harlot. So they automatically saw, they automatically perceived what she was based on what she had on. And these same people do not like coverings. They do not like any of those things, and you got to consider our people come right out of Christendom, and a lot of them go into the Jewish synagogues. I was looking at a program of a Jewish, and I might have been looking at this program about 15, 20 minutes. And I'm looking, I'm trying to see what they're saying. And it's two individuals, and they're going back and forth. And one of them turned his head slightly, and I saw the covering. I said, damn, I've been looking at it for 20 minutes. I didn't even know that little damn thing was back there. You can be talking to one of the ish for 30 minutes straight and not even know they have on a head covering. The head covering just be hiding in the back. People, what is that? So you covered, but not really. So then you look at Israel, where they just have a little sheet thrown over their head, but you can see all their hair. I know where you get that from. That's that ish. That's that ish. See? Y'all want to have coverings that don't nobody know you're covered. So these Jews got these little things look like they washed them in hot water and they just shrunk. I mean, it is amazing how that thing even stayed back there. But you can sit there and have a whole conversation with them and not know that they supposed to have on a covering. It is absolutely amazing. And we like it so. So we want to be half covered. We see the nations do it, so we want to do it. See? So now in just dealing with the clothing to establish who or what that individual is, let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 13. Leah, didn't you send me an email that had the thing on the yarmulke? All right, we're going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 13, and we're going to read verses 10 through 19. Yeah, if we go 10 through 9, that's going to be pretty interesting right now. Now, Kish pull that off, I'm going to be like, I know that brother got the spirit. I knew it.
Verse 10. And Amnon said unto Tamar, bring the meat into my chamber, that I may eat of your hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Amnon her brother. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her, and said unto her, come lie with me, my sister. And she answered him, no, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not you this folly. And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for you, you shall be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore, I pray you, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from you. Howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, but, being stronger than she, forced her, and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her with exceedingly.
Right, and that's what happened. You think that you're going to go out of your way to make somebody happy, to appease them for the things that they want to do, and only find out that they don't do nothing but cause more situations. After he got what he wanted, he hated her more than the love that he had for her before. That's what happened when you connected and dealing with fleshly individuals. You think, well, if I go out here, if I deal with them with this, they'll accept me and love me. They're going to hate you even more. Go ahead.
Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Amnon said unto her, arise, be gone. And she said unto him, there is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that you did unto me. But he would not hearken unto her. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him, and said, put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a garment of divers colors upon her, for with such robes were the king's daughters that were virgins apparelled.
Okay, So the king's daughters that were virgins had these robes with diverse colors. Then this is a clothing of royalty. Remember, Joseph had a coat of many colors. So now this is the clothing that the king's daughters that were virgins wore. Read.
Then his servant brought her out and bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head and rent her garment of divers colors that was on her.
Because she no longer a virgin. What she need the clothing of the virgins for? So it was customary for them to be able to look and see what a person had on to know what status they was. But see, today, somebody'd be mad if a brother just walk up. What's up, ho? Oh, you got on a whore's uniform. I'm sorry, you're not a hoe. I thought that's a whore's uniform you have on.
Can't believe you disrespected me.
No, if you'd have been dressed like an honorable woman and I said, what's up, ho? That would have been disrespectful. But because you have on a whore's uniform, is it disrespectful if I run up to a policeman and say, officer? No, he has on a uniform. Is it disrespectful if I run up to a fireman? Hey man, there's something on fire down here. That's not disrespectful at all. Because he had a uniform on that warranted that type of response. So when you wear whore's clothing, we need to just figure out what your price is. I mean, are you on Groupon? I mean, what? Read, man.
That was on her, and laid her hand on her head and went on crying.
Right. So now she has changed that. Let's go to Genesis chapter 38. See, we got this come as you are thing, but where did we get that from? We got that from Sunday morning. See? And that gradually changed. Because let me tell you something. I can go back far enough and show you when all the pastors wore robes. But then them fine Italian suits, they started making all that money. They had to show them suits, Jack. The robes came off. But I remember all of them wore a robe. You could, the pastor looked just like the choir. But see, all of a sudden, we got selective amnesia. We don't remember that. Why you got to dress such and such? You don't remember the pastor used to wear that? The pastor was completely covered from head to toe. When they talked about the priest, they said he was clothed with a garment down to the foot. What? But we don't remember that. It wasn't that long ago. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, the issue also is, in the time when he said, come as you are, those people were living in culture. They were dressed in culture. So come as you are wasn't a thought process. They knew it meant their spiritual state.
Right.
Just as when he talks about certain things futuristic, that they had no clue what the heck he was talking about. Mm-hmm. Now we confused with it because we're not living in culture. So we think come as you are means, well, this is how I'm dressed.
Right. Yeah, that's a big problem. That is a big problem because, you know, even when I first, came out of college, my mama said, all right, you going to start interviewing. You got to look like you already have the job that you want to have. How do they dress in that job? What does a person of that status look like? Well, come on, let me take you shopping. You need one of these, you need one of these, you need one of these. So when you go in there, you look like you're supposed to be there. And I got that job and it changed my life. And what was crazy, probably about a year later, guy was sitting there talking to me. This how Yahweh work with you, and you don't even know nothing about Yahweh. The man says, we took a chance on hiring you, and it worked out. I said, what you mean? He said, you know, there was a guy who had did this in the military, and he was more qualified than you. He had better credentials. He said, and I couldn't figure out which one of y'all I was going to hire. And I had to go down to, you came in here with a full suit on, dressed to the T, like you already belonged here. And what if I went back to my mama? You don't know what you're talking about. Right. The dude was way more qualified than me. He had already done the job. I had never done it. So they went past the guy who already knew how to do it and said, he got the right mindset, though. Right. Genesis chapter 38, and let's start that at verse 12.
And in process of time, the daughter of Shua, Yehuda's wife, died. And Yehuda was comforted, and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnath, he and his friend Hira the Adullamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, behold, your father-in-law goes up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments off from her.
Right. She took her widow's garments off. So they would have known that she was a widow. A widow is a woman whose husband has passed away. So Israel is able to know, based on how the women are dressed, what their social status is. So she takes these widow garments off. Go ahead.
And covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife.
Right. As her husband had died, she was supposed to get the next brother as soon as he was old enough, but that did not happen. Go ahead.
When Yehuda saw her, he thought her to be an harlot.
Why?
Because she had covered her face.
So then she knew what whores look like. So she took off her widow's garments and put on a whore's uniform so he would think she was a whore. So, pay attention. She was dressed like a whore, and he treated her like a whore. Read.
And he turned on to her by the way, and said, go to, I pray you, let me come in unto you.
There you go. See? So in other words, what's up, home? How much? You on Groupon? That's what he said. Why? Because he saw what she was dressed like. What's the problem? She took a widow's garment. But see, here's the thing. She wants to be treated like a whore at this point. So she knows what will get her treated like a whore. I put on whore's clothes. So she took the widow's garments off. She was going to be treated with respect. She don't want respect at this point. What she wants is a baby. So she puts on the whore's clothes, knowing that he's going to then approach her like a whore. Right?
But even in that case, she knew exactly what man, just like we see out in the streets when they put him on. If it's not the guy that they like talking to him, you're going to get all kind of flack coming towards you.
Exactly. She knew exactly what she was looking for. See? She could see him. He couldn't see her. Go ahead.
For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law.
Uh-huh.
And she said, what will you give me that you may come in unto me? And
Now they're negotiating the price. See, this all Johns have to negotiate a price before the deed goes down. Go ahead.
And he said, I'll send you a kid from the flock. And she said, will you give me a pledge till you send it? And he said, what pledge shall I give you? And she said, your signet and your bracelets, and your staff that is in your hand. And he gave it her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood.
Yeah. So she took off the whore's clothes when she was done pretending to be a whore. Because she no longer wants to be treated like a whore anymore. So now she takes the whore clothes off. Interesting concept. Interesting. That you have people who will wear whore clothes and then demand that you give them respect. I'm sorry, that's not how that works. You got a problem? Blame the book. Go ahead.
And Yehuda sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, where's the harlot that was openly by the wayside?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, there was no harlot in this place.
So we ain't got no harlot in this town, man. What you talking about? Ain't no in this town. What are you talking about? Go ahead.
And he returned to Yehuda and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Yehuda said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and you have not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Yehuda, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the harlot.
Why? Why she play the harlot? See? Because now she pregnant. We see her pregnant. She supposed to be a widow. And now she done popped up pregnant. She ain't married nobody.
Mm-hmm.
She done played the whore. Played the harlot. Can't believe her. Right. Right?
And they ran to tell him why she's still bound to his family.
Right. See? But that's why she only wanted him. That was the family that she was tied to. That's why she also needed them bracelets. So she already know when he come with judgment and he ready to stone her to death. Go ahead.
And also, behold, she's with child by whoredom.
Whoredom. Check that out. Right. And she with child by whoredom, and her daddy was the John. Go ahead.
And Yehuda said, bring her forth and let her be burnt.
Let her be burned. Look at him. Just let's execute judgment on this harlot. Hear ye, Israel. Yes. Go ahead.
And when she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child?
See, she had already covered herself because she already knew what the business was. See, she knows how things operate in Israel. She knew how to dress to get treated a certain way. She knew what to change back into, and she knew how to protect herself when judgment was about to show up. So now she covering herself. Whoever these things belong to, that's who my baby daddy is. Y'all want to meet my baby daddy? Y'all about to meet my baby daddy. Read.
And she said, discern, I pray you, whose are these?
Mm-hmm.
The
Who's
signet,
these is? Read.
the signet and the bracelets and staff.
Y'all ever seen anything look like this? Like this? Read.
And Yehuda acknowledged them and said, she has been more righteous than I.
Uh-huh. She has been more righteous than I. He ain't got that fire no more, do it? Let her be burned. What? You know what? And set yourself on fire too. You know what? Never mind. Never mind that she has been more righteous than I. Yes, she had. No, man, hold on. Bring the same fire that you had for her. Bring it for yourself. But somehow the fire went out. Somehow the fire went out. It was a bunch of water that came in and washed the fire away. Right. When it had something to do with him. Go ahead.
Because that I gave her not to Sheila my son.
And he knew exactly for what the cause was. He knew exactly what happened. Yeah, she deceived you, but you gave her no other option. Go ahead.
And he knew her again no more.
Mm-hmm. Now, most of us would have said, well, I already done been there. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. I mean, once you know the way, you know what I'm saying? Okay, no. He knew her no more. Let's go to Numbers chapter 15. Yeah, we'd have made an excuse for that one. And on this thing, it's the kippot, pronounced kippot, is Hebrew for skull cap. Singular is kippah. Yarmuks, pronounced yarmulkes, is a Yiddish word taken from the Polish word yarmulka for skull cap. So when you deal with this yarmulke and where that comes from, you notice it doesn't fit it doesn't fit their own head. It don't fit nothing. They must have special ones for brothers who go bald or something. Like how do you just tape it up there? I mean, what you do? You know, it's got a suction cup on it.
I'll just say, I don't know.
It does? You got to spin it. Wow, that's deep. Numbers chapter 15, and we're going to start with verses 1 and 2 first.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when you be come into the land of your habitations, which I give unto you.
Now, the first part of this is to deal with where we are and what is being given unto the children of Israel. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when you be come into the land of your habitations, which I give unto you. Remember, we were then given Israel. We live in America. Did Yahweh give us this? Is this ours?
No.
Are we in control of anything here?
No.
Understand, as he's giving them this, there's all kind of things that go along with that. So when people don't do anything or don't do the stuff right, then we judge those people. If we stone somebody and the County County police find out about it, you're going to jail too. So we don't have an opportunity to even execute anything within this. So we have to first understand that each time, and if that ain't clear enough for you, each time we went into captivity, when we came out, what happened? They had to reestablish everything going back into Israel. Why? Because they couldn't do it all in captivity. But yet you got folks walking around pushing the fringe. We got to keep every part of the law. You're not going to be able to keep every part of the law in your enemy's land. This is part of the punishment. If you will not do what you're supposed to do in the land that I gave you, then you're going to serve your enemies in your enemy's land, serving gods of wood and stone. You didn't do it in your own. Now we got Israel walking around with a bag of rocks and some fringes, trying to orchestrate every portion of the law on people within captivity. And every time we came out of captivity, we had to reset up our order. Read about every last one of them. That means it was a whole bunch of stuff that they couldn't do outside of our land. When you're not in control, you don't get to orchestrate all of those things. Therein lies the difference between the letter of the law and the righteousness of the law. Now, because we couldn't do all the sacrifices, did that make it okay to then go and steal and rob and kill? So then they still kept the righteousness of the law, even though they couldn't follow the carnal part of the law, even though they couldn't do the sacrifice. They still know robbing and killing is wrong. So they still kept the righteousness of the law. But somehow, even to this day, carnal Israel can't receive that. Go ahead. We're going to jump to verse 32.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks on the Shabbat day.
Now, another situation, and I know some of y'all came from the gathering. I ain't picking on none of y'all, but do understand there was some. We done had 3 altercations from people who came from them gatherings. All right. So then we had a brother that come in here that want to say everybody in here need to be wearing fringes. Now, and I done heard that before. I done heard. My elder dealt with some of these same strengths. See, this is what I be trying to tell y'all. Sometimes y'all be looking at folk and y'all think them folk just like y'all. They ain't nothing like y'all. And my mama used to tell me that I used to have these 2 friends and I loved them dearly. We cracked. So I used to laugh so much my head and my stomach would hurt because they were just that fun to be around. And my mama said, sooner or later, baby, you gonna realize that you might have a lot of fun around them. But those 2 guys ain't nothing like you. Man, I ain't want to hear that. Man, these my homies, man. We have fun together. Give it a little time. And it sure showed up that what they had in their heart and mind didn't match nothing about what was in my heart and mind. But as long as we kept it carnal, we could get along. It was when we started dealing with something with substance, that's where that dividing line come from. See? So if you ain't sure about it, let it go spiritual and watch that dividing line. Watch y'all don't kick it the way y'all used to kick it before. Watch. Go ahead.
Numbers 15 and verse 33. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moshe and Aaron and unto all the congregation.
Now, brother read this, and I let it go because it was several conversations, and each time I'm talking, trying to give an opportunity, you know, to have this discussion on, and this went on like 3 or 4 times, and it appeared to be peaceful, but I knew what it was. I've had this conversation before. Brother read this and said he wasn't stoned because he gathered sticks. I said, bro, what the hell book you read? But see, this is what happens when you want to see what you want to see out of a situation. So he said, because he didn't keep all the commandments. And the fringes say, keep all the commandments. So it's about the fringe. Keep reading.
And they put him in ward because it was not declared what should be done to him. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, the man shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones. And he died, as Yahweh commanded Moshe.
Right. Now, brother said that didn't have nothing to do with him gathering the sticks. What? How you read that and get something else? Yahweh will appear to the forward full. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations.
Okay.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
Right. So now the fringe has become the ultimate commandment to carnal Hebrews. Am I against fringes? No. I wore them today just so I can prove I'm not against fringes. But keep reading. Now they've made the fringe the commandment. Check this out. Keep reading.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of Yahweh.
It may be a fringe for you to remember the commandments. So if I go home and I tie a string around my finger to remind me to feed the dog, what is the objective? It's to feed the dog. The objective, but see, this is how carnal Israel get. Now the objective have turned into the string on the finger. So now Israel, you better put a string on your finger. For what, brother? I can remember to feed my dog on my own. That's your damn problem that you can't figure out that you need to feed your dog. So you need the string on your finger. But if I feed the dog without the string on my finger, have not I kept the objective that was originally given? This came because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Then he says, put a fringe on that you may remember to keep all the commandments. Now Jake has turned the fringe into the commandment. The commandment, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Thou shalt not covet. Now you done turned the fringe into the commandment. So you got brothers, just like Pharisees, walking around with fringes, committing adultery, setting people up for murder, stealing, all the while walking around with their fringes on. Fringed up. Got bags of stuff they done stole. Fringed up. Right. Them same folk walking around with fringes done put everybody in the house of Israel. Oh, you from Fiji. You one of the tribes too. Come on in here. Fringed up. Doing all manner of it. Welcome people to the word and cuss them out in the same breath. And that's like, you got to think about the mentality of that. That's like when a brother try to talk to a female. Hey, how you doing, sister? I don't want to talk to you. Well, forget you then, sister. I don't want to talk to you anyway. That's what them brothers act like on the corner. They try to invite somebody to the word. Soon as the people don't accept the word, now they're cussing the people out. All while wearing a fringe. Wow. Amazing. And has twisted the doctrine to fit that fringe doctrine. And I heard that same thing within this conversation that I had. Go ahead, bro.
You know, it's like he's setting this up. This situation has happened for the first time. They've never dealt with it. So then he gives you this fringe as a reminder. But as time goes on, this is supposed to become normal. It's like when you get a job.
It should have been normal to start with. You just came out of captivity. You had to build stuff and go get straw to make bricks. You had to work all day. You ain't got to do nothing now. Why I need to get normal. It ought to be normal.
It's like when you start a.
My bad, folks. My bad.
It's like when you start a job and you got to set an alarm clock to wake up at a certain time. After a while, your body gets used to it.
Right.
You ever get up before the alarm clock goes off?
I constantly, brother. I don't even need no. I get up and turn my alarm clock. I be like, why the hell you ain't went off yet? Oh, I'm 20 minutes early. I be wondering, who are these people who need alarm clocks? Where do they make those people at? I can't. Once your brain been drained, it's a done deal.
Yep.
I get up waiting for the birds. Why they ain't got up yet? What the hell going on? These birds late. They must have had a late night chasing worms or something. Go ahead, bro.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of Yahweh and do them. And that you seek not after your own heart.
And that was the problem. Seeking after our own heart. And we're still doing it to this day. Go ahead.
And your own eyes, after which you used to go a whoring.
Used to, for some of us. Go ahead.
That you may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your Elohim.
Right. Let's consider that. Now let's go to Exodus chapter 23. See, the fringe is supposed to remind you to do all of the commandments. And remember now, there's a punishment attached to that. And we already know we can't do that. So we already have to deal with the righteousness of the law. So read Exodus 23 and verse 13.
And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of your mouth.
They said, look, brother, if it's in the word, this is what we got to do. The fringe, you got to keep all the law. All right. Every day we got named after another God. So if I tell a brother, look at man, we got to meet to go and do such and such on Monday, should I be stoned?
According to the law.
According to the law, I should be stoned. I've said a different name of a God every day. Sun, moon, Tu, Wooden, Thor, Frivia, Saturn. Every last one of them. So should I be stoned? If you in the land of your captivity, you don't get to set up the calendar. You don't get to set up the days. Thus, why it's called punishment. If you could do everything in the enemy's land that you could do in your land, how is that punishment? If you tell a kid you are on punishment, now here go your tablet and your computer and your television. Now here goes the remote, so you can go in there and they got some good stuff on Disney. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. Some really good stuff on Disney. That's channel 312. What the heck kind of punishment is that? The child can still do everything. How is it that we can't get that? How is it we can't get the righteousness of the law? But I tell you why we can't get it. Because we go and listen to these people who don't want to be in the priesthood because they do not want any regulations. And they are seducing our people with this make-believe easy walk. That ain't gonna do nothing but get them killed. Let's go to Mark chapter 5. And this one thing, we got to read it in both places, because you have to see what is said and what people lean to their own understanding and put in there. Mark chapter 5 and read verses 25 through 34.
And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Yahshua, came in the press behind him, and touched his garment.
Now, you're going to hear the people, and they're going to read this in another part in Matthew, but they said, see, the woman touched his fringe, and the fringe healed her. And I heard the same thing from the other brother. Yahshua wore fringes. Where the hell y'all get that at? Where y'all read Yahshua wore fringes? But you got to lean onto your own understanding to pull that out. Go ahead.
For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I will be whole.
Now, I'm going to read the other one so you'll see what it says in the other version. This is why they always read the one in Matthew. But go ahead.
And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague.
Right.
And Yahshua, immediately, knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, who touched my clothes?
Now, there's another reason why they don't read this one. Because I've heard them brothers say, okay, she was healed because she touched the fringe. That's why everybody need to be wearing the fringe. Keep reading.
And his disciples said unto him, you see the multitude thronging you, and you say, who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, daughter, your faith had made you whole.
I'm sorry, what healed her?
Your faith, her faith.
Them intensive care unit brothers said that she was healed by the fringe. I just watched 2 of them lying videos last night from them intensive care unit brothers, and they said she was healed when she touched the fringe. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's why they won't read that one. So let's go to the other one so you'll understand why. Let's go to Matthew chapter 9. Matthew 9 and verse 20.
And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment.
They said, see, she touched the fringe. See, she touched the hem. See, what that say fringe? So then they'll go into another book and look, because when you go into looking at what was given unto Israel, they said, well, it said that they should wear fringes in the borders of their garment. So he most likely had on a fringe. Oh, so now we most likely in the word. Right, you got to lean to your own understanding to reach in now and get that Christ wore fringes. But this is the one that they use for that. So automatically when I heard the brother, Christ wore fringes, where you get that from, man? Who told you that? Right. See? Now let's go to Acts chapter 19.
Even in verse 22 of that same scripture, he says the same thing. Your faith has made you whole.
Mm-hmm. They don't ever read down that far. They don't ever read down that far. See, Israel quite funny, man. There's a reason why when he called them prophets and he told them, look, don't be afraid of the looks in their faces. Because if looks can kill, Israel would be serial killers. Because when you start putting out the truth or the part that don't make everybody feel warm and cozy inside, boy, Israel let you know. Let's go to Acts chapter 19. And what's interesting, and this is something that, you know, I hate to have to do it, because there's certain things that Yahweh will deal with you. It's not a situation where the Spirit doesn't deal with you until a certain point. There's things that I can go back to my life and see that Yahweh was guiding some things when I was 15 years old and in the midst of turmoil. But it wasn't like he was dealing with me every day. I know nothing like that. I can just go back to certain events. All right? The interesting thing is, some of these people that people are listening to, they constantly talking about the Spirit, but they ain't dealing with no Spirit. How can they? Go ahead, bro.
In John, it says the Word became flesh,
Mm-hmm.
which was Yahshua. Israel went into Yahshua. How the fringes for him was for that for him to remember.
Right.
If the Word became flesh, who was Yahshua, then why would he need the fringe to remember? And the Word is already in him.
He is the Word, but he need a fringe to remember himself. Who art thou? I am me. Oh, thank you, fringe. Right. Right. Sound a bit schizophrenic to me, bro. Something ain't right there. Acts chapter 19, and let's read verse 11 and 12.
And Elohim wrought special miracles by the hands of Saul,
Now, special miracles were done by the hands of Saul. Go ahead.
so that from his body were brought onto the sick handkerchiefs
Handkerchiefs is what you wipe sweat off with. Go ahead.
or aprons,
Apron. Go ahead.
and the diseases departed from them, and the evil spirits went out of them.
Right. So did he have a handkerchief with fringes on them? Did the fringe heal them people? See, this is where who that? Billy Graham and all them people got them prayer cloths from. They got them from this right here. Did they have fringes on them? When the brother said, "Oh, she touched the hem of the garment, so she touched the fringe, and that's what healed." All right. Well, how Saul healing people without that then? Yeah, that's them crickets in the back. Right. See, all you got to do, that same thing. 9 times out of 10, when somebody reads something to you, and because people be so emotional when they, read, brother, and they doing that, start from where they stopped at. Normally, the lie is exposed about 5 more verses down. While you trying to go all over the book, no, wait. The lie is taken care of in the same part. There's a reason why they stop right there. See? So let's go to Numbers chapter 21. See? I want to show you how this is nothing new to Israel. Where we take something that was made for one thing and we do something altogether different with it. This ain't nothing new. This is us. So now the fringe healing people. Check that out. Yet Saul was able to heal them with they just had these cloths, pieces of things that he has worn. But see, what we don't remember is when a priest does something and he ministers in those clothing, think back. There's a part in the word where it says when he goes into the holiest of holies, he has to take his clothes off, that he does not sanctify the people with his garments. When he went into the holiest of holies, which would the symbolic thing of what this curtain is, he would go behind the curtain, make atonement for the children of Israel. He's got to leave those clothes in there. Otherwise, he make the people holy with the clothes that he wore when he went in there. But Jake forgot that. But I guess that's the difference between a Moray and a Kohen. Numbers 21 and verse 4, man.
And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to come past the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against Elohim and against Moshe. Wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. And Yahweh sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died.
Right, because they were fiery serpents. He gave them what was in their heart, because they was always backbiting with their mouth. So he gave them something that was going to bite them. Go ahead.
Therefore the people came to Moshe and said, we have sinned.
Right, when somebody get bit by a snake, then they want to, you know what, my bad. We have sinned. Right, go ahead.
For we have spoken against Yahweh and against you. Pray unto Yahweh that he take away the serpents from us. And Moshe prayed for the people. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, make you a fiery serpent.
Now this is what he told Moshe. This is the commandment. Make this fiery serpent. Go ahead.
And set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looks upon it, shall live. And Moshe made a serpent of brass and put it up on a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
Right. Now, Yahweh was the one that commanded that to be done, right? All right. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 18. So we're now talking about a process of time now. Because this is given in Numbers. Now 2 Kings 18, and let's read verses 1 through 5.
Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah the son of Ahaz, king of Yehuda, began to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign. And he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that David his father did. He removed the high places, and brake the images, and cut down the groves, and brake in pieces the brazen serpent that Moshe had made.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This was ordained by Yahweh. This was commanded that they make this brazen serpent. He took it down. Read.
For unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it.
Right. They start worshiping the damn thing. So now he got to knock the thing down. Yahweh was the one that commanded, make this for them so it'll heal them. Later on, it turned into a worship. Same thing that the brothers doing with the fringes. Now the fringe is supposed to be something to make you remember the commandment. Now they think it is the commandment. Now they think they holy if they put it on. So the very thing that Yahweh ordained, a couple generations later, now all of a sudden they worshiping the thing. Go ahead.
And he called it Nehushtan.
Right, they got a name for it and everything. When you see an ambulance come by, they still got that serpent and the pole to this day. Right. It was supposed to help Israel. Then they turn out and start worshiping the doggone thing. So people want to say, oh, this is what we need to do. Not when you take it and make an idol out of it. Did you finish that?
Verse 5, he trusted in Yahweh Elohim of Israel, so that after him was none like him among all the kings of Yehuda, nor any that were before him.
All right, now you're going to hear a lot of different things. And like I said before, Israel love if you can tell them something in Hebrew, because understand something, we've been removed from our culture. So if you throw some things out there, it kind of tickles our fancy. See? So I'll read this definition for Kodesh.
H6944, holy. From H6942, a sacred place or thing, rarely abstractly sanctity, consecrated thing, dedicated thing, hallowed thing, holiness, most holy portion thing, saint, sanctuary.
Right. So you're going to hear certain words when you start talking to Israel. You're going to hear Ruach and Kodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh. Oh, yeah, Israel loved to say those things. And that make us feel real good when we're saying it. Because apparently, if people can say, all it means Holy Spirit. But if you say Holy Spirit in Hebrew, you must be dealing with him. Right. Do Spirit?
Ruach, H7307, spirit. From H7306, wind. By resemblance, breath, that is, a sensible or even violent exhalation.
Exhalation, go ahead.
Figuratively, life, anger, unsubstantially, by extension, a region of the sky. By resemblance, spirit.
Right. So then now we're dealing with the spirit. So when they say the Ruach, that's what you'll see. Well, you know, brother, the Ruach, you know, have to guide you. So everybody that think that they saying Ruach because they saying it in Hebrew, they think that means that they dealing with the spirit. So don't let these people think, you know, let you think that they move in some kind of way in a higher capacity than what you can do just because they saying Ruach HaKodesh. You know why Israel like it? Because it sounds just like that stuff, some of that we heard on Sunday morning. Right. Right. Think about it. I was flipping through the channels and heard Klepto say it the other day. I said, wait a minute, that sound like, wait a minute, that sound for me. Right. So then you look at Israel and they done turned this into an idol. Yeah, brother, see the Ruach. Right, but let me show you how they ain't dealing with no Ruach. Let's go to Acts chapter 19. So you got to deal with the people out of the word. Everybody claim they dealing with the spirit. chapter 19 and let's read verses 1 through 6. Just because you can say spirit don't mean it's dealing with you.
And it came to pass that while Apollos was at Corinth, Saul, having passed through the upper coast, came to Ephesus, and finding certain disciples, he said unto them, Have you received the Holy Spirit since you believed?
Have you received the Holy Spirit? Have you received the Ruach HaKodesh? Go ahead.
And they said unto him, We have not so much as heard whether
We
there
ain't
be
even
no-"
heard of the Ruach HaKodesh. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, Unto what then were you baptized? And they said, Unto Johannan's baptism.
Mm-hmm.
Then said Saul, Johanan verily baptized with the baptism of repentance.
Now, it said he was the best of those born among women. But his baptism did not allow you to get the Ruach HaKodesh. Go ahead.
saying unto the people that they should believe on him which should come after him.
Uh-huh.
That is, on the Mashiach Yahshua.
Uh-huh.
When they heard this, they were baptized in the name of the Adonai Yahshua.
Okay, and then what happened?
And when Saul had laid his hands upon them,
Uh-huh.
the Holy Spirit came on them.
Then they received the Ruach HaKodesh. So them people ain't baptized and they constantly telling you about the Ruach. You don't know nothing about the Ruach. You a spiritual fetus. You ain't even been born in this word yet. Trying to teach somebody. How many babies taught you? A baby drink milk and doo-doo. That's what a baby do. That's your life. Drink and dump. That's what you do. Eat, poop. Don't try to teach nobody. They didn't have the opportunity to have the Spirit until they was baptized in the correct name. So you got unbaptized people walking around talking about Ruach. That Ruach, brother. That Ruach. How about get your baptism? Ruach that. But see, a normal person don't come to somebody else's organization and try to teach them. That's not something normal people do. See? Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 1. He said, when you come in somewhere, sit you in a low place. At least a more honorable than you come in, and you get moved to a lesser seat. And you exalt yourself when you come in somebody's house and start telling them what they ought to do in their house. Now, Yahweh know the difference between those that have a desire to get their baptism, but can't. That they might be further away. Man, we got people that want to keep the Sabbath, but have strenuous working schedules that they can't. Should they be stoned according to your fringe law because they can't get off work? We're in the land of our captivity. Ain't no guarantee you're going to get every Saturday off. Right. 1 Timothy chapter 1. And let's read verses 3 through 10.
As I besought you to abide still at Ephesus, when I went into Macedonia, that you might charge some that they teach no other doctrine.
Right. See, that's why you got all these other doctrines, because people say, well, look, I can be a teacher without following any of the things, any of the guidelines of the priest. We were not told that we were going to be a kingdom of teachers. We was told that we were going to be a kingdom of priests. A kingdom of Kohen. Go ahead.
Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions rather than godly edifying, which is in faith. So do.
Right. But I got somebody telling me I need to take priests off the front door. Put kahuna. See? Now, if I put kahuna, they would expect a surfboard.
Where your surfboard, brother? You say you the kahuna.
Right. Read, man.
Now the end of the commandment is love out of a pure heart.
Now the end of the commandment is love out of a pure heart. But the carnal law keeper can't find love. They can't figure out what love is. Go ahead.
And of a good conscience and of faith unfeigned,
Mm-hmm.
from which some having swerved have turned aside onto vain jangling,
Right.
desiring to be teachers of the law,
Mm-hmm.
understanding neither what they say nor whereof they affirm.
Right. Spiritual feeders trying to teach somebody. Come in the word trying to instruct people on this, that, and that. How about you sit down? My teacher was doing this 45 years before he passed. I ain't just started doing this. Yet folk come in here and start instructing other people. Then I hear somebody talking like, where you get that from? Well, they told me. They don't know jack. And stop asking people who don't know jack. Well, she told me she don't know jack. Read, man.
But we know that the law is good, if a man use it lawfully. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man,
What the law made for?
but for the lawless and disobedient.
Right. That's why they need as many fringes. They need fringes on their ears. They need fringes on their nose because they can just smell that sin. Oh my, I can smell it. Oh my God, I just want to sin. I need them fringes on my nose. Or else I'm, you know what, I got fringes right here, man. Put that fringe on my nose. Just put it right there. Keep me from smelling that sand. Right. Read, man.
And for the ungodly and for sinners,
Right.
for unholy and profane,
Mm-hmm.
for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers,
Uh-huh.
for manslayers,
Right.
for whoremongers,
Whoremongers. I'm going to put a fringe on my zipper. See, because, see, I have some issues. So I need that fringe right there on the zip. So when I zip it down, oh, there go my fringe. I need not do that. But if it's in your heart, you don't need a fringe on your zipper, man. Read, bro.
for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars,
Mm-hmm.
for perjured persons,
Mm-hmm. Now, for liars, say, now I need a fringe. Let me put that right on my lip. Right there on my lip. That way I can remember. It's hard to lie right there. See? It's hard to lie. Right. Read, man.
and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine.
All right. Let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Matthew 25. Matthew 25, and we're going to read verses 1 through 13.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins,
Mhm.
which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
Right. Them 10 virgins all look the same. See, y'all going to have to figure out that same thing that I had to figure out way back when. When mama said, look, I know these seem like your buddies. And I know you have a lot of fun with them. But they not cut from the same cloth you cut from. Now, of course, when that's your mama, you like, you just saying that because I'm me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because you know what I'm saying? What mama ain't going to believe? Oh, baby, cut from a different cloth. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't get on out of here, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. You just saying that because I'm your son. Took a little minute. Situation and circumstance start happening. And I'm looking at these cats. Boy, I sure like being around them, but these dudes missing some conscience or something. These dudes missing some stuff. Some of the stuff that they did, I was like, bruh, how is it okay for you to do that? And then you just had a completely straight face while you were doing it. Slowly but surely it began to dawn on me. They wasn't cut from the same cloth. But I didn't want to see myself as different. I didn't want to see that. I thought they was just like me. Some of y'all gonna have to make the same decision. You're gonna have to realize that these people ain't nothing like you. Read, man.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
I ain't saying you perfect. You got issues. We all got issues. Read, man.
They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them.
Right. That all is a symbol of the spirit, and they ain't got none. That's why they need to hang around you. They siphoning off your spirit, and you don't even know. You look left, and they Right. Go ahead, man.
But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
So the wise took spirit with them. Go ahead.
While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept.
Right. See, the bridegroom wise. And he said, look, I ain't finna marry some women who just look good. I need to figure out which ones got the spirit and which ones don't. So let me go ahead and let it get real dark. Then I'm going to see who got oil in their lamp. Go ahead.
And at midnight there was a cry made,
Right. Why at midnight? That's when it's the darkest. Go ahead.
Behold, the bridegroom comes. Go you out to meet him. And all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
All the wise ones, go ahead.
And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil.
Now you understand why they're around you. Now they need to borrow your spirit.
Look, I can't go meet Yahshua because I don't have no spirit. Let me borrow your spirit and I'll pay you back Wednesday.
You ain't got none of my spirit. I can't let you borrow my spirit, boo-boo. Because if it ain't enough for me, then that means I lose my salvation. I can't give you mine. Be careful of them spirit siphoning friends you got around. Go ahead.
For our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, least there be not enough for us and you.
Right.
But go you rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
Right. So while we was all getting oil for our lamps, while we was all making sure that we had adequate enough things to make it through the night, what the hell were you doing?
Plotting on what you got.
No, they was enjoying themselves. That's why they're not prepared. But now, when the day comes, now give me the stuff that you have prepared. No! Why have you not prepared? What were you doing while all of us was preparing? Serving yourself of Yahweh. Doing what I want to do. Right. Read.
You know the problem is, how many of us is going to know to cut that off and say no?
Exactly. See, even a dumb animal got, hey, the Animal Channel got me. It got me, man. The Animal Channel, I can say, all right, I'm just going to watch one animal episode. 3 hours later, I'd be like, damn, I cannot change this channel. But even a dumb antelope, no. You see that little sick one? And he got that little limp. You see the family separate. And the mama's the last one. She's the most emotional one. The mama trying to be with her baby. The daddy let it go on for a little bit. You'll see him a little farther off with the rest of the family. Then he'll go ahead and put the law down. She'll be like, she'll rub neck one more time and she got to go on and leave. Even a dumb animal know, I can't carry you up to this mountain. If I stay with you, that lion gonna have a 2-piece snack. Right now he gonna have a 1-piece because you and that limp you got, you ain't gonna make it up this mountain. But if I stay around, I ain't gonna make it up this mountain either. So you got a decision to make, Israel. Are you gonna make it up the mountain? Or are you gonna try to carry somebody with a peg leg up the mountain and both of y'all end up being a snack for the hungry lions? See, my destination is Zion or bus, baby. I hope all my family make it, but if not, hate it is. But I'm making it. You understand what I'm saying to you? I hope all of them make it. But I ain't willing to sacrifice my salvation for it. Hey, if all of us don't make it, hey, you will be represented in the kingdom because I will be there. I talked to Yahshua about you. It's a shame such and such couldn't make it, Yahweh. They was a fine individual. Well, you know, as far as fun goes. Hey, but I ain't trying to lose mine for it. You got to understand how precious your salvation is. Ain't no buddy system in salvation. Did you come here with a buddy? Read, bro.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Adonai, Adonai, open to us.
Understand now, these virgins, these are worthy to be married on the natural side of things. But spiritually, they ain't right. Consider that. Rattle that one around in your head for a minute. Go ahead, bro.
You know, it's crazy. In verse 7, it says, all of them, trimmed their lamps. So they were ready to get some of the oil from the other five.
Of course, because they had probably already gotten accustomed to doing it before. See, when you allow people to constantly borrow of your spirit, they don't even continue, they don't even start preparing.
He said, look, it's going to get dark around 7 o'clock, and I'm going to get some of Keisha's oil, and then we're going to make it through the night.
How they know that? Because they got some of your oil last time. They are now planning on your oil. They have not even considered that they're going to have to prepare for themselves. They already planning on your stuff. They done already took an inventory of your stuff. You see how much oil Keisha got? Look at that. I'm going to get the second bottle right there. Right. They ain't changed nothing. They still want to do what they want to do. But when it come down to it, they want your oil to make it through the night. Go ahead.
But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes.
You know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes. So consider these things, Israel, because there are a lot of spiritual imposters trying to pretend that they are Israel. We know about the natural ones who pretend to be Israel. But then what we don't consider is the natural ones of Israel who still are not Israel, but just are pretending to be Israel in the spirit. As it is written, they are not all Israel which are of Israel. And those are things that we don't consider. Yahweh said, yeah, they Israel naturally, but they not really Israel. Just like if you think about it, you got some family members that they family because they some kin to you, but they not really family. And you know them when you see them. Oh, here come that. Consider those things, Israel. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.